All right, so we've got a lot of the sensors and stuff disconnected from the manifold, a lot of the stuff out of the way that you need to pull it up. There's going to be a few things underneath in the harness that you got to deal with as well. But next step here is to get the fuel lines off. What you want to do is take it, put the tool, and you want it to go behind the plastic fitting. You take it and you push it in, and it's going to be tight, but you got to wiggle it in there. I'm going to put you back up here on the stand and show you what I'm talking about. Now it will spray a little bit of fuel, as you see, on the pressure side, of course, but that's okay. It's not going to be a bunch. Just get a little bit on your hands. After you get your fuel lines out of the way, the fuel regulators just clip into this plastic piece here, so you can just lift them out of the clips. And then there's one more line for the vent right here. It's got a clamp here on this side. You take that off, and then you're good to go. And the whole fuel system is disconnected from the chassis of the car to the actual engine. Now it's time to start on the fuel rails and the new fuel injectors. So to start working on it, the first thing to do is to unplug your injectors. They could be a little bit tight, and they do have a piece that guides it, so you can't twist them before you pull it off. But once you get them off, the next step is to go ahead and take these two 12mm bolts off. Go ahead and get that rail out of the way. This is one of the things here that I'm talking about, the pieces underneath. Fuel wraps around to here, goes to this hose, and that hose goes all the way over to the other side. And that's how it connects the two fuel systems between the throttle bodies. So, you've got to take off this clamp right here, take it off, and then this fuel rail will come out. Just a heads up, if you are doing the factory delete on these and you are using aftermarket lowers, the installation process will be pretty much the exact same, except you won't have to pull the rubber O-rings out of these parts for the injectors to seat down into. But everything else will be the same. Just will not have these butterfly valves nor this piece on the end. All right, so we got it all figured out here. So in these factory lowers, they got that rubber O-ring there for the stock fuel injectors right there. It sits down into there. All you have to do for this style injector here is pop those pieces out, and then they perfectly slide and fit right into there. Now again, this O-ring on this thing is very, very thin, and you want to make sure that you got it seated properly. I always recommend using a little bit of assembly lube or some grease or oil of some sort, just a tiny bit on the O-ring. Then after that, get your fuel rail set up like this. They come with these spacers to put on it, and it's got the spacers right there, and it's got O-rings that go on the bottom side of the bolt, and that holds it all into place. After you get your fuel injectors and rail all pieced together and installed, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have your two adapter pieces there. That comes with some smaller ones and some larger ones, depending on whatever size you're needing. We had to use the larger ones. And that is it, all set up. The next step of the process is going to be these bad boys right here, the actual fuel lines. First line has a little 180-degree bend here, goes to the front side of the passenger rail, and it runs here, down beneath the turbo inlet, and over to here. Line number 2 goes to the back side of the passenger rail, feeds the exact same way, running along the other fuel line, and boom, they both pop out right there. And line number 3 goes right here onto the front side of the vehicle, side of the driver's fuel rail. Number 4 goes to the back, and they both run right along there underneath the AC lines and out this way. Right, once you get your fuel lines ran here. Then you grab your Y pieces, and it's line 1 to line 3, then 2 to 4. So you just got to match them up, and you run them right back here to where the return lines will go out this way, and then you are all good to go. The next step after getting both of your Y pieces in, on the bottom side there's going to be an adapter piece for a quick connect. Go ahead and put that adapter piece in, then you put this line number 5 in, and it goes all the way down and it attaches here to the fuel pressure regulator. Fuel pressure regulator included with the kit bolts up to the stock mounting bracket. You just use a nut and a nut on this side, and then you've got the fuel pressure regulator right there. It goes from the return, and it comes with a quick connect down to here, clamped onto the regulator to the return line. And then the next one will be going from the feed all the way down to there, to the inside of the fuel. And then once that's done, the fuel system is pretty much all done. And just a solid reminder for you guys, once you get all of that ran, just go ahead and re-go and tighten down all of your fittings. Just make sure everything is tight. There's a lot of little fittings on here and a lot of potential fuel leaks. So go back, retighten everything, and move to the next step. After you get your intake manifold on, you've got all your fuel lines ran. First thing you want to do, hook the battery back up and prime the fuel system. If it's got a push button, just push the button a couple times, let it prime up. Don't try and start it, just let it prime. Check all of your fittings, each one on each side of the rails, going into the regulator, everything. Make sure that there's nothing spewing. If there is, you'll be able to see it and hear it. If so, just tighten up the connector where it's spewing from. Make sure everything is tight. The last thing you want is to get everything together and for there to be a good sized fuel leak. So just make sure you do that, get everything tight. You can start working on getting the intercooler back in and all the other pieces put back together.